Part 3, Chapter 3. In with all the cool cats. Well, it seems we have a new student joining us for today, said cheerily, looking more than a little nonplussed. She eyed me suspiciously, doubtless wondering what kind of friends I had in high places in order to get the letter of transfer with the royal seal I had presented to her earlier that same day. From Canterlot. Class, please give a warm welcome to, what did you say your name was again, dear? Sunbeam, but please call me Sunny. All my friends do. I put on my sweetest grin. I damn near had to fight my way out of the castle this morning. Luna had been abusing her temporary size advantage to carry me around, cuddle me, pose me on the throne, and take embarrassingly large quantities of photographs. Her recompense for taking care of my paperwork, I suppose. The spell, or more accurately, spells, as there were several layers to my disguise enchantments, had worked perfectly. Age magic was notoriously difficult, but I had pulled it off without a hitch. My body had been shrunk back down to that of a mere filly without any side effects. Even my mane and tail had returned to the rose-pink hue that had been sported during the days of my youth. The second layer of glamour had been to hide my wings, a conspicuous indicant of alicornhood that would be very difficult to explain. I had decided to leave my horn, as pretending to be a unicorn might prove to be a useful conversation starter with the young Dinky. It had, however, had to be shrunk. My horn had always been abnormally long, even before I became an alicorn those many years ago. The final layer of enchantments was to temporarily alter my cutie mark. This was surprisingly almost as difficult as the age reversal spell itself. Cutie marks are notoriously resistant to any form of alteration, magical or even physical. I chose to have my flank appear blank. Dinky had yet to achieve her own cutie mark, and anything in common might have served to help me ingratiate myself. I smiled warmly at my fellow classmates. Oh, and hello again, Diamond Tiara.
Just what we need, another blank flank in our class, sneered the pink and purple filly.
What was that, Diamond Tiara? You want me to cast the truth spell on you again? Why, of course, it would be my pleasure. Sunny will be joining us as a guest student for the day, said cheerily, as she cast a stern glance at the class bully. Go have a seat next to Shady Days in the corner there. I recognized the young colt, and for a moment I fear he may have recognized me as well. Shady gave me a curious stare. I reciprocated with an innocent eyelid flutter, and he eventually relented, turning back to listen as Cheerilee began teaching. Dinky was seated in the back of the class, leaning on her hoof. She looked bored, and I would come to sympathize with her. Not that Cheerilee wasn't doing her best, mind you, but sitting in on a class for foals was less than intellectually stimulating for a 2,000-year-old alicorn. I breathed an audible sigh of relief when it was finally concluded, and recess began.
Howdy! Sunny, was it?
Asked the small red-maned filly who trotted over to me, followed by two others. I recognized her immediately. The sister of one of the elements of harmony, 1/3 of Gabby Gums.
My name's Applebloom, and these here are my friends Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, and we're...
She trotted a few steps backwards to join her friends while drawing a deep breath.
The Cutie Mark Crusaders!
Two of them bellowed.
The Cutie Mark Crusaders!
Cried the third one, about 1 second out of sync with the other two.
Dang it, Scootaloo, I said to count to 3 in your head, and then we'd all say it at the same time,
said a rather frustrated Applebloom.
I did! Wait, when you say to count to 3, do you mean that we should count 1, 2, 3, and then go, or did you mean we should count 1, 2, and then go on 3?
Asked Scootaloo, looking genuinely confused.
I think you should go on 3, and never come back.
Diamond Tiara shoved her way past the other two and strode before me.
Are you lamekins trying to recruit another blank flank to join your ranks? How pathetic! But you should probably join them. You're so lame that you'd fit in perfectly with these 3.
She sniggered. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What did you just say to me? I said, my voice dripping with faux sweetness.
I said I wasn't able to concentrate on class because I was too busy thinking about Applebloom, and I'm only acting this way because I'm extremely insecure because I think she knows I like her.
The smile faded from Diamond Tiara's face.
No, Silver Spoon, call the nurse, it's happening again!
Diamond Tiara took off at a canter, desperately fleeing the classroom with her silver-maned friend in tow.
Yeah, Don't worry about DT. She's a little weird in the head, muttered Applebloom as she feigned disinterest in Diamond's plight. So, how about it? Want to help us crusade for our cutie marks? Speaking of some pony who has fought in actual crusades against actual crusaders, I'm not sure I can consign on the name of this little club. How about that pony over there? She doesn't seem to have a cutie mark either. Is she part of your club? I nodded in Dinky's direction. Time to get this intel gathering mission underway. Dinky Doo? We invited her to join, said Sweetie Belle. But she can be a little prickly. The filly shuffled her hooves and averted her eyes. Dinky stomped off and settled in the corner to read a book on her own. A bit of a loner then. Odd. She seemed fairly talkative during the time we two had spent together. Maybe a bit too willing to speak her mind, perhaps? Prickly? What do you mean?
Oh, well, her mom is a little different to other ponies, and some of the foals here, mostly Diamond Tiara and some others, they made fun of her for it. I guess it's kind of like when you fall asleep in the sun and you get a sunburn on your belly, and then if even the lightest blade of grass touches your belly, then it hurts like crazy, began Scootaloo.
Hypersensitive, interjected Sweetie Belle excitedly.
Super hypersensitive,
sighed Scootaloo.
She's kinda hard to be friends with because of that. Also, we may have sorta put an embarrassing photo of her mom in the newspaper so the CMC are not exactly in her good books at the moment.
Diamond Tiara again. I should have done something meaner to her this time. Maybe magically glue her rump to the stool for a few hours. Or turn her hair into seaweed for a day. Later, I've got to stay focused on my mission. I think I'd like to talk with her. Please excuse me. They watched me as I walked over to Dinky. I couldn't help but feel a little nervous. And rightly so. Dinky had proven that she could detect inauthenticity from a mile away. But today, I had come prepared. I had asked Luna to do some research on how all the cool and hip young equestrian ponies talked. Now, with the fruits of her labor, I will easily impress this young filly and become her new friend. This was going to be a piece of cake. Yo, 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 hip diggity diamond dog, what's poppin' in the kitchen? I asked Dinky as I approached, grinning broadly. How's it hanging in Coolsville, yo? Got any cool funky dance moves into his house? Yep, nailed it.
To be continued.